Hello ladies and gents, I am Diffin, and welcome back to From the Depths, Ashes of the Empire Community Edition. In this episode I would like to deploy some more vehicles, and hopefully I will have enough materials to utilise them. So some of these have had sticking around in my fort for quite some time. So, to begin with, let us start with the Burnstar main battle tank by Red the Rage. A 10,000k design, which looks like it is... Ooh, interesting colour there. Huh, this is remarkably similar to that scout tank we had in a previous episode. Though it does also have thrusters on it, which will definitely help with its propulsion. Still, let's see how it fares against... what do you reckon? What is the gun like? The gun looks like it has an okay rate of fire, but nothing tremendous by the looks of it. I think Onyx Watch will probably kill it. So let's send it against something from the Steel Empire. Let's send it against the Bear. Okay, the Bear might have been a bit too strong for it, but never mind. So good motion there. Oops, and it does get hit by a couple of cram shots, but otherwise it's doing alright. Yeah, the Bear was definitely a too large a target for it. Though, that said, it is taking on the hits quite surprisingly well. It's really the Gatling, he's been able to avoid the cram shots, and it's the Gatling cannons which is doing nicely, I say, as it hits directly by the cram. Okay, let's just try against something a little bit weaker other than the absolutely massive Bear. Okay, we'll send it against the Brush Cutter instead. Smaller design. There we go. Looks like it's already disabled most of the Bush Cutter in a single shot there. It's nice. So it's absorbing the strikes from the Bush Cutter surprisingly well, though it will eventually get caught because the Bush Cutter does have a supreme amount of rate of fire. So this first strike did essentially disable Bush Cutter straight away, which is a really nice effect. But unfortunately, again, it's getting murdered. I think it's probably best just to send it against the Taipan, like we used to, I guess. But I reckon the Taipan heat round will actually cause it to explode internally. It's a nice strong round, and it's not too expensive, so it is very, very impressive. It's just, I have a nasty feeling against the more potent designs we are facing from the Steel Empire and the Onyx Watch, this will unfortunately not fare very well. But it is a very good for its cost, it seems. It's a nice strong cannon there. Next up, we have a much more expensive design, one by Charadon, the Home Defense on Wheels. A 34k tank, which is definitely a lot tougher. Interesting load of rubber here at the sides, so presumably when this gets knocked over, or when it fires that quite ridiculous number of barrels of guns, it's probably going to flip over, and this rubber at the side just helps keep it upright. So let's send this against something from the Onyx Watch. Sending it against the Sentinel. And that is a... wow, that is a lot of shots. What's the refire rate like? Quite slow. Ooh, and it just skimmed the top there, but where it did hit, it basically stripped off all the components. This is a very powerful design, it seems. The accuracy is not perfect, but look at that! Completely stripped through the entirety of the turret there, just made a gutting hole through the hull. Yikes. That is really quite something. Let's actually stop the enemy vehicle. I want to see just how ridiculous this can be when it has a stationary target to fire at. Yep, it's just stripping straight through the hull with ease. See it fire once more. I think it might be a little bit low on ammo at the moment. Yeah, its accuracy is a touch off, but it is just stripping straight through the hull wherever it strikes. So a very, very nice tank it seems. And a touch more accurate than some of the other designs because it is utilising APS rather than the cram cannons we normally see from Charcharodon's designs. Next we have a very little cheap design, the Microcopter by Morton. 3000 design, so I'll probably be spawning in a couple of these. Let's see what they're like. Oh, they have lots of little rockets. Little rubber skids at the bottom there. Nice. So they're likely to be good as little drone killers, so let's send them against a Neuron. Oh, the Neuron has simple lasers. It's not going to go well. The missiles are being fired, but it's having difficulty tracking the Neuron. It's sent against Irritation instead. So they've got a nice little array of missiles. How are they doing against the drones? Ah! Very nice. They are striking, it's just not very potent in terms of weapon output. But it is only a 3K design, an exceptionally cheap drone. They are unfortunately very, very liable to be annihilated. And the odd missile will pretty much take them out of the sky in a single hit, which is a tad unfortunate. Luckily for me though, the cost of them, if they are shot by anything potent, will essentially reduce the cost of repairs. Because spending 3K on rebuilding one of these is less than repairing 7,000 materials worth of destruction caused by, say, cram cannons. But next up we have the TM1AA51C by Eagle, an 18K design. Let's see what this one's designed like. Very similar aesthetics as what we've come to expect from Eagle, and looking a nice futuristic style tank here as always. This time though, a rotating Gatling barrel, which seems to have a relatively low rate of fire for a cannon of that gauge. Quite often they're a lot more, or a lot higher rate of fire. So yes, let's see how well it performs though against a vehicle from Steel Empire. Let's send it against a Nebel. So it turns quickly. It fires missiles which seem to be fairly slow and unfortunately being spooked by the flares there, though they still managed to strike. It seems to stop firing. The AI is in a very vulnerable position in Eagle's designs. So let's restart this with the tank facing in the correct direction. Yeah, so, oops, I've got killed. It does seem though that, oh dear, oh dear, it's getting completely annihilated there. So it did take a very nasty strike at the front, big destination at the front, which I think is where the primary ammo stores are. Though the main cannon is still firing, which is very, very good. Still slowly moving and slowly but surely causing a bit of damage to the enemy tank there. Just does seem to be having a very, very nasty time against this tank. And I think that just goes to show how vulnerable a lot of vehicles in Ashes of the Empire are to missiles, because missile defences are very, very uncommon in Ashes of the Empire. So let's send it against the brush cutter and see if it performs a bit better there, against something which doesn't have very potent missile arrays. See, straight away, does seem to be having a little bit of vulnerability. The ammo is at the front, and yet the AI is at the back. So either it takes a hit from the ammo and gets detonated there, or it takes a hit at the back and gets disabled as the engine and the AI get destroyed. However, the rest of the resilience seems to be pretty good. It's just that some of the more vital components are unfortunately fairly vulnerable. So compared to the other designs I've had from Eagle, this one doesn't seem to be as potent, though I do believe it is one of the cheaper designs. So hopefully it will perform nicely in the main game, as it is a little bit cheaper, and so hopefully won't utilise too much of my resources, which I do need to be concerned about, since the resources I am very low, so it's causing a bit of issue for me in the near future. And finally we have the UG7, the Particle Destroyer by Tostov, a 34K design. Again, very similar style to the other ones from Tostov. This one seems a little bit bulkier, and let's see, so these look like they are, they're turreted particle accelerators, so it can take out air units. Ooh, this is something I'm going to put in the Steel Empire force, I believe, to take out those irritating drones from the Twin Guard, as also it should prove very potent against some vehicles from the Steel Empire itself. So we'll send this against the Brush Cutter. There we go, lining up its particle accelerators, and those are very nice. Wow. Took out the whole side gun of the Brush Cutter there. Their shields are proving exceptionally potent at protecting it against the Brush Cutter's armament. With a blast of explosive shots there, taking out almost the entire side of the tank there. Awesome, another strike causing even more damage to the side. Needs to try and strike at the front to blow up the other gun though. There we go, again more strikes, being limited quite strongly though by the heavy armour. That though is working incredibly well, and it's taking minimal damage against those shells. They are slowly but surely breaking out the front blocks, but otherwise the shields are working perfectly at protecting it against all damage. I do want to see though how well it fares against taking out the drones. One of the irritations would be quite a nice target. So there the turrets aim up. It doesn't have a full elevation, but does have good enough elevation, though one just got disabled by an EMP strike. And look at that, absolutely perfect, in line, struck it instantly. Though the irritation is, well, irritating, and wasn't completely disabled by that strike, though it is pretty much rendered useless, and this will prove very, very effective at taking it out in a moment, if it ever gets in line to fire another shot. Which I don't think it's going to do, because the irritation is orbiting directly above it. Yep, tad unfortunate there, but the irritation has managed to avoid complete death. Though, being able to disable them and being able to hit them with hit scan weaponry is really, really useful. So it's definitely going to be useful in the campaign. So I think I'm just going to add all the new designs, apart from the boombox, into the Steel Empire force. So let's jump over to here and add them in. Not the boombox, the home defense on wheels. So I'm going to add everything apart from home defense on wheels to the Steel Empire force. There we go. Let's get it right. Pull all and then get those repaired up. Okay, so the home defense on wheels has been built up there. Just need to try and join it into the force, which is a lot easier said than done, I must say. So logistics, logistics needs more resources. Having a little bit of difficulty actually supplying the new force with the materials. Okay, home defense on wheels build up. Now I'm going to have to take the materials back from the Onyx Watch Force. So I've got materials there, but I haven't got any materials with the Steel Empire Force, and that could cause significant problems if they get attacked. Right, Onyx Watch Force, move out and start taking some new tiles. I need to actually advance in this campaign, otherwise I'm just going to be static for a lot here. So, resources. You take half, and that, oh, well, we're going into battle, whether I like it or not. Which battle is that? This is this one over here, with the Twin Guard. Okay, let's jump over to this force and see how they're ready to go. Well, the lineup seems decent enough. The Beluga is ready to take out the bases. It's not really good for the drones, but it is definitely good for taking out the other things. Oh, it's not Steel Empire. Bushwick. Okay, that's even better for me then. Okay, well, let us begin this battle. Well, we massively outnumber them, so I don't really have any fear that we're going to win this battle in very short order. The enemy are pretty weak compared to our forces. Actually, my biggest concern in this is how much damage I'm going to do via shooting and crashing into my own vehicles, because that has proven to be quite expensive, particularly in the repair front. And straight away you can see a huge number of missiles strike the brush cutter there, detonating the internal components, and also the Shadowcat there as well. And then the next barrage of missiles is coming up towards this flyer at the side of the camera there, and the Beluga laser is basically finishing it off, striking vital components internally there, stripping off blocks all over the place. Just quick to check, and basically everything is already dead. So it's now just waiting for this to either get too damaged or the AI to in fact be defeated. And then it would just be a simple case of waiting it to fall out of the sky. I level up, which is always rather nice. And then, yep, it loses a wing. Just quickly check, and everything is shooting at salvage, so quickly change everything to ignoring salvage to prevent misfires in the future. Excellent. That turned out to be quite a simple battle. Not much received damage, but more than I was expecting, to be perfectly honest, but that's all okay. So let's now send them up against their next target. Onyx Watch Force moving up to attack this tile and also that Exploration Force, which just consists of 2 rhinos. That's actually more terrifying than I thought. Okay, so the resources are coming in from the logistics bot here. I'm just taking the opportunity to expand the pipeline as well. And there we go. All those are ready to go and attack. So let's move up and attack this next tile and claim that resource zone for our forces. How are our fuel levels doing? Oh dear. Quickly get the fuel. Need to get the fuel to this Onyx Watch Force, because they are currently being blockaded and they have no fuel. I don't think I can really afford the fuel on them. Quickly, get over there. This could be very painful. If I can't get the fuel to the Onyx Watch Force in time... Yeah. Okay. Okay then, we have no fuel for this battle. Right, we'll see what I can do with regards to getting fuel as a combat refueling, though I haven't really got much in the way of materials to afford it. We'll see what I can do though. So, ready to begin, and let's begin. Quickly go straight away to resources. So we'll go straight away to the fuel. And then start straight away. So we've now got enough fuel to keep us going for a little bit in the battle. Yep, that was a little bit of a panic initially, because yes, without fuel, without moving against the Onyx Watch, that is going to be absolutely horrific. And I do unfortunately miss a little bit of the battle to start with. It seems that the Gatling Trampage did get a rather nasty hit on it. I decided I should probably try and capture a load of things, so jump out out of one of the vehicles and observe the battle as I fall down here. But just observe as everything is firing. The laser is firing, the crams are all firing all over the place and doing a rather deadly amount of damage against anything which would be stationary. And unfortunately for me, that would have been my entire forces if I had not done that fuel. So very, very important. Just observing the battle a little bit more and now heading towards the Rhino itself to go and capture. So let's jump inside, or try and jump inside and go for the kill and find the AI. Unfortunately, I don't really know where the AI is, and I get kind of trapped inside there anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So I find my way in, but then I kind of get pushed out of the tank and then give up, and then decide, you know what, let's just watch the rest of the battle and observe everything fighting away. Looking at health there, the Gatling Cram has taken a little bit of damage, but otherwise everything is doing okay. I quickly check the resources and observe that actually not doing that great. Fortunately, my laser is deciding to shoot the Gatling Cram and causing probably more damage than anything else, which is highly unfortunate. Materials are going down, that's why I've got the overlay on, because I was just wondering, have we got enough to keep repairs functional for this battle? And thus far, we are doing okay. The enemy is made up of a lot of heavy armour, so we're getting a lot of salvage here. Though, we are losing a lot of materials just on those repairs, and things are now falling out of the sky. You can see there a couple of planes, and a few things down to around about 70%. But the first Rhinos is now disintegrating, giving a very, very large amount of materials to our forces, allowing for more repairs. And there, the other one is also too damaged. So now it's just some case of trying not to kill each other via ramming attacks and friendly fire. And there goes the home defense, firing those nice array of shots. Right, so the battle is finished. Unfortunately, we did lose fuel partway through the battle, and I forgot I did actually add in a new vehicle. So while I was happily trying to capture vehicles, I kind of forgot to showcase the new vehicle, the home defense on wheels. We did unfortunately lose, though, the pre-war Falterstun. So let's remove that and repair the rest up to full strength, and we'll get them back into another battle so we can actually showcase the new designs properly this time. Oh, I had got fuel but hadn't shared them all with the same supply group. Okay, that was a bit silly. Oh well. Lessons learned, I guess. They're ready to go on to the next battle though, which is good. Though, we do want to see how this force performs against this mess of Steel Empire units. We've got a lot of new designs here. Let's see how they perform. They've got a good amount of fuel, but not that much material, so it's going to be a little bit concerning to see how they fare, though we have a lot of things there. We have ICBMs, a potentially nasty, and we also have the, I think it was 120 something, 128 strength tile as well we're going to face at the same time as this, I believe. Yeah, here comes that force coming over there, which is good. So the Twin Guard force is now going to be attacked again by Steel Empire forces. Seems to happen a lot more, which is quite irritating. So, let us get ready for the combat with both of these Steel Empire forces. Put everything right near the front, so we're ready to go straight away. Though a couple of designs do need to be adjusted in their positioning, it seems. With that positioning done, the battle begins momentarily. I'm a little bit concerned with this battle because it is against a lot of enemy forces, and there is that ICBM silo, and with any sort of nukes will cause significant harm. There is also a Hexer, which has a grav ram, which is actually striking the boombox here, which is flinging it around, despite it being made of lots of heavy armour. And it's just taking the brunt of the forces and is in fact losing its main gun there. So it has a side strike and lots of internal hits. As you can see there, it had a chain reaction internally, blowing it to pieces. I didn't spawn those two tanks very well. They were actually spawned within each other. That is a bit of a mistake on my part, but I actually thought there were two separate spawn locations, but unfortunately that was not the case. Some crams coming in from the Onyx Watch forces there. Well, not the Onyx Watch, the Steel Empire forces. I'm so used to the Onyx Watch having all these crap. And there we go. This new particle accelerator vehicle is doing very, very strongly, hovering at a nice distance, firing those shots at long range. However, it is not firing at the ICBMs, and the first ICBM has struck, making a huge detonation within my forces there. I go have a look to see the damage, and yes, one vehicle is completely ripped to pieces, losing almost everything. Another nuke is also striking there as well. And I have a look, and yes, several vehicles have been severely damaged by these nuke strikes and those crams coming in from the Steel Empire, and not the Onyx Watch. Now the Hover is still doing quite well, and it's mainly because it's just avoiding everything. I thought it was broken with its missiles up in the air, but that's just how it looks. Having a bit of an overview of the battle, trying to determine what's going on, because the battle is over such a wide area, it is quite difficult to determine everything happening. One of the light tanks is struck there by a solid hit, and I observe another nuke detonating within our forces. Has this actually struck anything? I can't really tell. Or, yes it did, it took out one of their light tanks. You can see there, it's down to found about 60% health. So I jump over onto it to try and repair it up with my repair tentacles on the Rambot. Just observing the battle, you can see it is spread over a very large distance. So just trying to figure out what best to observe. So let's have a look at the new vehicles. From here, I decide, you know what, let's jump on that little tank there, one from Red the Rage, and see if I can't capture this huge resource gatherer vehicle, because if I can capture it, that would definitely help. But I haven't decided that just of yet, so I'm still thinking, you know what, let's just try and break everything down a little bit more before I decide to capture things, because I thought it was almost about to be destroyed, and in fact it is not. There's quite a few other vehicles which is diverting the firepower between everything around here. Also, by not knowing where the AI is in any vehicles, it does really slow down any capturing, and I haven't really looked at their vehicle whatsoever. Looking at one of the noodle tanks there, and seeing if is it going to fire, but it doesn't seem to want to aim. Unfortunately for it, the enemy does not have any qualms about firing its APS at them. I quickly check the materials and seeing how we're doing, and we're doing okay. A few vehicles look like they're low or out of fuel, which is concerning, but otherwise we're doing quite nicely. This boombox is being struck by the Hexer there, the grav ram's flinging it around quite severely. But thankfully it's not taking that much damage. It's not being flung too heavily that the heavy armour is being destroyed. Shadowcat gets struck by an EMP missile, blowing the nose up, and the EMP racks through, almost destroying it. The boombox now though being repaired by both repair vehicles, keeping it alive, despite it being flung around like a leaf on the wind. Moving back to the resource zone and observing how that battle is going. It's about this point I realise I really should have captured that, well, when I mentioned it earlier, because now I'm thinking, well, yeah, I can really capture that. It would be a really good amount of resources. Unfortunately, it's not now as much resources. It's been heavily damaged, and is probably only worth about half of what it was when I first considered capturing. So I decided to say, yep, let's not beat about the bush anymore, let's go in for the capture and get this vehicle as soon as possible. So I leap in the absolutely cavernous holes throughout the vehicle and have a quick glance through the AI, and I eventually find it at the top of the stairs, which is very quick, just break through the door and then fire once, capturing it instantaneously. Now I remove it from play so it doesn't disintegrate into a green X and captured by the enemy, but otherwise it's doing alright. And also I now decide, let's move over from the little robocopters and head towards these houses and capture them as well. So move towards the first one, and by the time I get to it, the AI is already destroyed and I instantly capture it, which is a nice feature. Next one, I leap in and spot the AI immediately and fire and capture that very soon as well. Right, so that was a rather successful bout, it seemed. We managed to capture the Omnitrus. No, didn't do that yet. Which was worth a fair amount of materials, 49k, which is brilliant because I'm very low on materials, so I will scrap that. Actually, first of all, I'll save because I don't want anything to crash and lose the progress of these last couple of battles. So we'll scrap the Omnitrus and also the two houses, which honestly not worth that much material, but better than nothing. And then also I can now send in one of the whirligig miners, I believe. Let's duplicate them. Let's send the new one over to this here. Right, what did we lose? We lost one of the Viper tanks. The Type C Sacron. And the Bergstusen heavy tank. Oh, and also the missile one. So, unfortunately, because, well, we're hit by several nukes and a load of other things, it's actually not so bad. I was expecting to be quite a bit worse off than we were there. I don't think I'm going to be able to fight another Onyx Watch battle this episode, which is a bit of a shame. Just because of how long these last couple of bouts have taken to complete. Well, I was hoping to finish up the resource maneuvering, but it looks like we have the next battle ready to go already. Should be fairly good. Just going to make sure the last couple of things aren't going to crash into each other, but otherwise it should be okay. Everything looks like it is decently separated here, so let us begin the battle. Not too many Steel Empire. Nope, there isn't that many at all, so again I'm not too concerned about this battle, though they've got a little few more tanks, and some of them do a rather large amount of damage. Immediately there, the Bending Blade is taking a rather large amount of hits, much more than I was expecting to start with. Unfortunately for Steel Empire, they're being struck by a huge barrage of missiles which have actually detonated several of the main guns on the vehicles. That leaves the one of the cram cannons completely unhindered, but it is, well, it's a couple of cram cannons, it's not going to strike very accurately when there's only a couple of them, and this is a fairly mobile force, so I'm not really concerned about being struck there. What's more annoying is that they have a load of LAM system taking down all of my missiles, which is very, very irritating. Fortunately there, the interceptor has been struck out of the sky, and if something doesn't repair it soon, it is likely to disintegrate. So I thought, oh, that's AI dead, let's jump over to it, but I am a couple of seconds too late on the mark and don't actually capture it, which is a bit of a shame because that would have been a nice amount of resources to do the repairs for this battle, which we can obviously need. The Beluga there firing his bright purple laser into the tanks, doing really quite significant damage, breaking out components here, there and everywhere. Though it's firing at the distant one there, you can see just striking through and causing a lot of damage. I was expecting it to start, or something to start shooting at this tank here, but nothing actually fires at it, so it's a bit of a odd camera angle, I must say. The other two designs though are also too damaged, and so it's going to be only a few moments while I wait for the last vehicle to be destroyed there. Fortunately, one of the E50s has rammed into it, blowing up its turret again. This is getting a bit of a habit for them. An annoying habit. The Interceptor got very close to death, as did one of the E50s. I'm actually surprised why this one of these E50s keeps crashing into things. They were doing so well, and now they just seem to have a death wish. Very, very strange. I think I have time for just one more battle, so let's see who's it's going to be against. Ah. We have a problem. Steel Empire have attacked our forces down south where we have no defences. We have no fast assault response force. Okay, this Twin Guard force, you're going to have to move down. Steel Empire force, you're going to have to creep down here to try and catch up with this force here. Now, as I thought, I didn't even get to move forwards, it just instantly got killed. But it looks like we only lost one radar balloon. The rest of our forces should be able to deal with the enemy. It looks like I am going to have to keep this force, Twin Guard force, to try and take out some of the Steel Empire forces as well. Right, well, I think rather than going for this battle, we'll use the Steel Empire force and take out this attacking force trying to destroy our resources. Well, the enemy force doesn't seem too scary, but it's definitely scary going after my resource back line. But hopefully now we can defeat it before it causes too much damage. Yes, a very worrying precedent indeed. If they're sending these forces against my resource back line, I need to do something about it as quickly as possible, because if I suddenly start losing the resource back line, I am going to have real problems. I'm having enough problems with materials at the moment. Well, all throughout this episode I have been having to juggle materials between all these forces, just trying to keep the repairs up and running. This force though is doing quite nicely here. It's not taking that much damage, and I'm hoping that it's going to be able to destroy the enemy in short order without receiving too much damage in return. A lot of strikes are being struck at the new tank there, the Eagle's new tank, and as you've seen, it is actually doing quite nicely. It's much better than it was doing in the actual play. Unfortunately, it then gets rammed by friendlies, and friendlies now get in the way, and they start killing each other, which happens a lot. The particle accelerator tank there blowing up absolutely everything it's coming across, and its massive shield array is keeping it well protected. I'm not quite sure why the alpha map has now changed, because it was fine in testing and it was basically invisible, but now it is bright blue, but there we go. Bushwick is still firing away, plinking away at all our forces, just waiting for some of our tanks to decide and prioritise it as a threat and kill it very quickly. Thankfully for me though, they are focusing at some of the other tanks which are actually a bigger threat with much more functional, high-powered weaponry. Bushwick there has essentially been disabled after all. Some missiles is going completely random in all directions, but then others are striking their mark, as they should. Last Bushwick though, there's doing quite strong, and there's now been damaged. The repair helis are still doing absolutely fantastic jobs, and there's little micro heli firing those little rockets down as well. So all in all, these new forces have been performing very, very nicely in this battle and throughout this episode. Excellent. Pipeline is secure. We didn't take too much damage in the end. I thought it could have been a bit nastier, but thankfully we did okay. Though we are going to have to try and take out this other Steel Empire force there. Anyway, I'm just going to pause the game and end the episode there. So thank you very much for watching this episode of From the Depths, Ashes of the Empire Community Edition with myself and a different. If you did enjoy the episode, please leave a like and or comment below, as it is always great to hear from you lot. Also, be sure to check out the rest of my channel for more From the Depths videos and other games, and swing by the Discord channel for more direct chatting. Otherwise, that's it from me for now, and I shall see you next time. But until then, I'm out. Goodbye!